My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Please go ahead and share my latest article in the Daily Caller, Why I Joined the NRA After Writing Gun Control Articles. It's going viral now. The NRA actually retweeted it, and I'm very proud of that, very honored about that. Go ahead, read it, even if you don't agree with me, even if you think I'm crazy for writing it. Please go ahead and check it out and see the arguments that I express within the piece. Also, check out my article prior to that, Free Julian Assange. That's in the description section. I was on RT. Check that out also. Spygate. We spoke about Spygate. I was with the great Charles Ortel. And that was just up yesterday. My latest two links, I will get to the range today. I haven't been at the shooting range in about a day and a half or so. I need to go back, and I'm going to get some new content. But the channel is growing, HA Second Amendment, and the last two segments from the other day are me shooting a 1911 MC operator, Springfield MC operator 45 ACP, and the XD version. Check those out below. A minute 20, not that bad. Okay, a minute 20. Oh, Patreon links for both channels below. A minute 25. Okay. Andrew Mccabe, oh my god, what's going on? Vox. Trump is now claiming that firing Comey had nothing to do with Russia. Vox is like a, no offense to anybody at Vox. Vox is interesting. They actually think, they're so entrenched in the notion that everything had to do with Russia because, poor Trump was so worried about all his nefarious activity that he fired Comey because Comey was just about to get Trump, don't you know? Unfortunately, Comey used the Steele dossier, and BuzzFeed is suing the Steele dossier. BuzzFeed is suing the DNC. I just wish Vox would write one article on why BuzzFeed is suing the DNC. I just wish that would happen. Ex-FBI Deputy McCabe wrote Memo on Comey firing. So what? Where's Trump's memo on how much he hates these people? Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Trump had like sheets and piles of memos? Here's my memo on this. Or that's not Trump, that's a little bit of Brennan. I can't wait for Brennan's memo. I'm John O'Brennan, here's my memo. And in it, he's like, by the way, Sally, I really love you, Sally Yates. It's like, who cares? Who cares what these people write? They're spy chiefs, they're bureaucrats. They're going to write anything that exonerates their rear end. They're going to write to further. These are the recollections, the gossip, the hearsay, the viewpoint, the opinion, the emotions of people who conspired against Trump. And like I always say, this is a repercussion of WikiLeaks. This is a repercussion of the authentic, pristine WikiLeaks documents that were published. What WikiLeaks did was publish pristine documents. DNC, Podesta, they always do. Everything they publish is absolutely pristine. To the establishment, that's like hearsay and gossip. It's not something that you have to protect against and fix in terms of corruption in your society. You don't fix that in terms of corruption. What you do if you're a Democrat is you say, okay, well, since the game is played in this manner, let's go ahead and now just utilize people's thoughts and opinions, and we can say, oh, they're these secretive memos. So they're even marketing this secret memo. Former acting FBI director. This is Time magazine. Okay. And, of course, Trump fired back, so this is Fox. Trump fires back at McCabe's secret memo. Says Comey firing, not about Russia. What they're trying to say is that Trump stated something about... He stated he fired Comey, and then he mentioned something about there was no collusion. Well, that doesn't mean that he fired Comey because he was afraid that Comey would finally find some collusion between Trump and Russia. That's like an idiotic vantage point. Well, Democratic Party, so I'm being redundant. Not that it matters, but I never fired James Comey because of Russia. The corrupt mainstream media loves to keep pushing that narrative, but they know it's not true. Here's another thing about how Trump communicates. This is a dirty little secret that, unfortunately, a great many Americans, both Republican establishment and Democratic establishment, don't want you to know. If you're watching from another country, this is just part of American culture that some Americans, whether you're an establishment Republican or an establishment Democrat, don't want you to think. And this is like, Americans speak in this manner of all ethnicities and backgrounds, and of all classes too, socially, I should say, socioeconomic classes. Americans speak, maybe not so much in terms of the directness of a New Yorker, but Americans speak in this manner. We're upfront, we communicate, and we can sense this is a profanity alert. Do not listen if you don't want to hear profanity. Most Americans, that's not to say that they're not going to be easily duped by the politicians that they want, that they've aligned with. But most Americans have a good bullshit meter. With Trump, he might be uncouth and boorish. Oh, he's so boorish. But at least he's direct and to the point. You might not believe him if you're a hardcore Democrat used to President Obama saying, I think, Libya was my biggest mistake. President Obama says Libya was his biggest mistake, quote unquote. He didn't know of Clinton's server. All of these things, all these lies, all these failed decisions. And that's okay because Obama was very presidential. They even love George W. Bush now. But generally, Americans like this kind of direct, in-your-face type of, Clint Eastwood, in-your-face New York type, New Yorker, Arnold Schwarzenegger, this direct, bold, big approach. Hollywood type of old school action hero type of approach. Now, people might say that's not presidential, but he communicates. Not that it matters, but I never fired James Comey because of Russia. The corrupt mainstream media loves to keep pushing that narrative, but they know it's not true. So just, they're direct and to the point. And what Democrats see is, oh my God, he's unhinged. He's crazy. He's unhinged. Look how he's debasing himself with the truth. Let me read this. So, President Trump fired back Thursday. Reports that ousted FBI official Andrew Mccabe wrote a secret memo suggesting the president had linked James Comey's firing to the Russia investigation. See, again, this is all a repercussion. I don't think anyone has ever really brought the correlation together, but I am. And they're trying to channel their own evil, gossip-filled version of WikiLeaks with all of this nonsense. Andrew Mccabe, first of all, any recollection that he had, and we don't. When are these secret memos written? All of this is like, oh my goodness, secret memo. Well, when was it written? How do you know? How come all these memos are written during Trump's administration, not during Obama's administration? Where are the memos regarding classified intelligence on Anthony Weiner's laptop from Clinton's server? Where are Brian Pagliano's memos when Clinton asked him, and it paid him thousands and thousands of dollars to restructure and rewire existing networks? This is not sustainable. To transfer top secret intelligence and special access program intelligence from SIPRNet, JWICs, and SCIFs onto her once unencrypted server. I've stated this on RT. I even stated this on MSNBC in one of my segments. It's on my website. To a certain extent, I stated a lot of this. And that was in 2016 when I said she couldn't win. Now, Democrats, are still just as delusional as they are, but I have evolved. Well, I was never going to vote Democrat anyway. I didn't. I voted for Jill Stein, but I'm voting for Trump 2020. I'm voting for President Trump in number one because he is less hawkish than Democrats, any Democrat that they cheat for in 2020. Number two, he's exposing corrupt FBI agents and corrupt CIA agents. He's exposing a deep state. And if you want to talk about the origin of that euphemism, the deep state, that was spoken about by Bill Moyers, by an author. By Bill Moyers on his website years back during the Obama administration, by a pretty famous author right now who actually doesn't even like Trump. Forgot his name. But Bill Moyers is like a liberal. I love Bill Moyers, but he's like a liberal journalist. Great journalist. Amazing, like a national treasure, I believe. But Bill Moyers, that deep state phrase, you could first find that on his website. But he's exposing all of this nonsense and craziness and insanity. And also peace between North and South Korea is important. Very important. That is monumental. Those three things, being less hawkish militarily, exposing intelligence community officials that are unelected and yet act with impunity, and peace between North and South Korea, are three reasons all people should vote for Trump. Or three reasons that I could say that that nobody could say are bad things. Nobody could. Well, Democrats could, but nobody can say, well, you know what, James Comey's honorable or he's honest. Anybody who tells you that is a complete moron. Possibly Democrat. Same thing. What can I tell you? Now they're pumping the myth that Rosenstein actually stated to, and I explained this in my last segment also, why on earth would he want to go ahead and, number one, why did they meet? Number two, why did Rosenstein talk about Comey's firing with Mccabe? It makes no sense. Why would he talk about the firing of his boss? One unnamed source told the Times that Trump just wanted Rosenstein to mention that he was not under investigation in the Russia case. Okay, but then why are they gossiping? It's like all this innuendo. Okay, it had something to do with Russia. So he fired. At one point, at a certain point, also Comey has to produce evidence that he was about to catch Trump in this grandiose conspiracy with Russia, because Mueller hasn't been able to. So if Mueller has been investigating for over a year now without any evidence of Trump-Russia collusion, what makes anyone think James Comey would have all this evidence? It's just complete and utter nonsense. Let's look at, okay, so Andrew McCabe turned over his, so he gave his memo to Mueller, which again, Mueller is just going to churn this into, there's nothing here. It's all a conspiracy theory. Like, everyone who was pushing this is a conspiracy theorist. They're the true definition of a conspiracy theorist. Because this doesn't even have a crime or an event associated with this. Nobody knows if the DNC was hacked. The NSA is moderately confident. Nobody's certain about anything regarding Trump-Russia. Mueller hasn't indicted anyone that has anything to do with Russia, or at least any evidence. FBI official wrote secret memo fearing Trump, got a cover story for Comey firing. Secret memo? Why is it so secret? They're doubling down on, this is a guy, by the way, look at the credibility of Mccabe. Andrew McCabe lied 4 times under oath. And the deputy director, Andrew McCabe, also lied 4 times and then twice under oath, and he was fired. And the basis for his firing was the Office of Professional Responsibility at the FBI. So tell me again why we should pay attention to this guy. Tell me again why Comey, why anyone should pay attention to Comey or McCabe. But in the meeting of the Justice Department, Mr. Rosenstein added a new detail, says unnamed sources. He said the president had originally asked him to reference Russia in his memo. Yeah, okay, so what? So what? The mere reference of Russia is like enough to get Democrats, like Pavlov's dog, just salivating. Russia? Oh my God! This reaction. So what? Then what happened? Did he pay a Russian hacker? Let's get back to the Russian hacking alleged that never took place. The DNC was allegedly hacked. Does BuzzFeed have any information? No, because they're suing the DNC for information on that. Because they published the Steele dossier, which defamed and they committed libel against a number of people who were suing them. So they're like, hey, DNC, do us a favor, help us out. DNC's like, no, it might help Russia. All of this is a bunch of nonsense, and it's just a bunch of insanity. These secret memos, number one, we don't know when they were written. Number two, McCabe is writing them, so already there's no credibility there. He's a liar like Comey. Number three, these are the opinions, the hearsay, the gossip, the vantage point of one person. We have no idea to corroborate whether they're true or not. And we already know that Comey wrote classified emails. So guess what? McCabe's secret memo could very well be classified, especially if it was written on an FBI computer and it had to do with, I don't know, the President of the United States of America. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. It's just unbelievable. This nonsense continues, and Democrats continue to fall in the polls. Let's just see if there's any latest polls. Midterm polls 2018. Real Clear Politics. 3.7. So there you go. 3.7. Are you kidding me? Within the margin of error. And if you're watching this channel, you know I've been telling you from day one, the House, and I've actually said it on television, on RT the other day, they're going to lose the House, lose the Senate again. Democrats will lose both the House and Senate again. And instead of Paul Ryan, they'll get Devin Nunes as Speaker of the House. Backfired big time on you, didn't it, Democrats? Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. The NRA retweeted and shared my article in the Daily Caller, and I'm very, very, very proud and happy about that. If you think I'm crazy, read the article. You don't let deranged madmen roam the halls of schools or anywhere else for 10 to 15 minutes, which is an eternity. There's no amount of controlling an inanimate object that will save lives when that takes place. You need very heroic resource officers or people out front protecting schools to ensure these madmen don't get away, that don't even enter the school. And we already have seen that in action in Florida and in Illinois. Very, very courageous resource officers. And I explain who they are in the Daily Caller piece. Give me your thoughts. Share this segment everywhere. I'm going to hit the range today. Also, check out my latest segments on HA's Second Amendment with the Springfield XD and the 1911 MC operator. Thank you so much. And my RT segment. Thank you so much for listening. Share this segment everywhere.